They understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said, close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Yep.
That cracks me up. It's uppity. Good to see you. I have been meaning to do this video for a long time. In fact, the subject is no longer hot. It's lukewarm at best. Hey, how you doing? I'm happy you're here, all three of you. Let's begin. So, this topic is about this pro-life Savannah lady. Let me get her name right really quick. Actually, I'll just go on ahead and share my screen and jump right into it. Some of these things, well, you're going to see a little bit of physical exchange. So, warning there, trigger warning there. Basically, she likes to rage bait people. She is a Catholic, right? And there used to be a joke about how Catholics have so many babies because they don't believe in birth control, right? I don't know if that's true or false, but actually, I do know that that is true to Catholicism, but individual Catholics, I have no idea. But also, they are people who position themselves as pro-life. Now, you also have in the Catholic Church an institution that has been sued for millions, if not billions, of dollars for, well, inappropriate kid touching. Okay. For inappropriate kid touching. Poor altar boys. Okay. There's so much that I cannot say directly because we are on YouTube and videos are censored for saying certain words that cause people discomfort. So I'm beating around the mulberry bush, but hopefully you are picking up what I am putting down. So, without further ado, I'm going to go on ahead and share my screen and we're just going to run through it. It's actually it's been 4 minutes. I'm going to play another little video just to be sure that it's 5 minutes. So 5 minutes into your YouTube video, YouTube is checking for offensive words, anything you may have said or done, and that gets censored. So I'm going to go on ahead and just give you another minute and 37 seconds of an intro. Um, and then we'll get right into it. All right, so we are officially 5 minutes and 10 seconds into the video. And the social media conversation about this is, well, do you believe that she deserved it? Yes or no? And you can let me know how you feel in the comment section below or even in the live chat. I will go on ahead and say, personally, I believe she deserved it. People say that violence is never the answer, and I vehemently have to disagree because it's how you can get people to leave you alone. Part of the reason that bullying prevails is because people have taken physical violence out of the equation. Now, what level of violence something deserves is a case by case basis. Maybe a person deserves to be slapped, or a person deserves to be punched, or a person deserves to be full out fought. But you don't want to apply like it would have been wrong to, let's say, rat-tat-tat-tat, like, it would have been wrong to, pop this lady with a 9 millimeter or a fofo, whatever you got. It would have been wrong to throw a hand grenade at her, but I do not believe it was wrong to two-piece this woman. I think two-piecing should be allowed when people say off the wall things because here's what no one considers: the fact that words can be violent too. Words are violent too. Where I'm telling you, you can get hit and that wound will heal. But I know people, somebody said something to them at 8 years old and they're 46 and they can still cry about it. Okay. A parent, a family friend, a somebody, a school teacher said something to them that was violent. And it was the source of low self esteem. I've worked with a lot of people based on what I know about psychology. And there are so many tools that have been used on me for so many years, um, in my years in therapy that I have learned them and I've used them for people that I care about. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is rooted in 8-year old you. This is rooted in 12-year-old you. So I absolutely believe that words can be violent, right? People start talking about your mom, start talking about your child, and they think that they can violate you in any way. And sometimes you have to let people know that that's not okay. And that's why in the 90s, when we were growing up, we would always say, but can you back it up? You can talk that, but can you walk that? You better be able to back it up. I remember when you would call someone the B word, when one girl would call another girl a B word, we would call those fighting words. Now these days, it's not as big of a deal, but back in the 90s, we would automatically expect for a fight to happen, and if one didn't happen, we would look at the other person like, "Are you a coward? Are you scared? Like what happened? Like that girl gave you, you know?" Or even like let's say non-black people hurling the N-word at black people. Like I watched a black guy get, exonerated in court for hitting a person of the Caucasian persuasion for calling him the N word. And the judge ruled that that person had the right to expect that there would be violence because the word in itself is violent. So you hear the N word and you're just like, oh my gosh, maybe somebody is going to tie a noose around my neck. Maybe someone is going to unalive me. You hear that word, especially when, it's a non black person using it against you. And it's like, all right, well, I'm assuming I'm in trouble because they said it. And there are centuries of proof that when somebody says that, you might be hanging from a tree like strange fruit. Okay? So let's go on ahead and play this.
It was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that
You
your
did.
point of view is it's very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been
That's
abused.
not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really. It was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that
You
your
did.
point of view is it's very.
So here are the comments. She'll think twice next time before she pushes somebody's buttons. And that's what she was doing. Why would she try this in New York of all places? If you look in the back, there's Lenox Ave. This woman is in Harlem playing these games. This Christian woman in a milkmaid dress who is clearly not from there. She wanted a response and she got one, and then she was all of a sudden a victim. This is obviously a hot topic that is very personal to people. You can't condescend to people and try to make fools of them on camera about such a subject and think that that's going to be okay. Gok Gok says, this was so satisfying. And here, this Jess Bailey, she says, internet culture has people thinking that they can just walk around purposely provoking people for content. I mean, yeah, eventually something like this is going to happen. I would find Blue Dress guilty of inciting violence with the other girl, innocent of all charges. This person says, so satisfying because there's something in human nature that tells you that this is okay. But the people who say that violence is never the answer are one, people who can't fight, or two, people who have already colonized the world through violence to the degree that should anyone else be violent, they would have to share power if they came against violence. You have the case of Luigi Mangione, who his mom The insurance company that they were using would just deny all the help that she need. It wouldn't cover anything, and it's like, well, what are we paying insurance for if you won't cover any of the things that my mother needs? So when he lost his mother, allegedly, correct me if I'm wrong with the story, he well he caught the person, the CEO of the insurance company, slipping, and knocked him off the face of the planet. And the majority of human beings agreed with him. All over the world, people are like, protect him. All over the world, people are like, I'll be your alibi, I'll be your alibi. That couldn't have been him, he was with me. And you wonder why people are defending this man, and there are all kinds of white supremacists like, oh my goodness, the fact that he has so much support, well, that means, there's a mental health crisis. And I'm just like, no, what you do to people is evil. Yeah, you never hit his mom. Yeah, you never spit in his mom's face. But you have automated decisions down to the point of costing her and millions of other people their lives while they pay you for the help that you say you'll give. How many lives have you taken, quote unquote, non-violently? These insurance companies that won't cover your help, although you pay them. But people, oh, violence is never the answer. Well, case by case basis, because sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Um, Conservative will learn to watch their mouth. Chris says, gonna learn today. She was walking away until the reporter had to open her mouth. How dare she put words in her mouth? Um, this lady was basically conveying that there are things that are worse than death, and that basically, and I agree. I agree that there are things worse than death. And you see a lot of people like these same pro-lifers. You ask them like, where else in life are you pro-life? Are you pro-life when it comes to the death penalty? Are you pro-life when it comes to kids in foster care? How many kids have you adopted? How many kids have you fostered? Are you even licensed to be a foster parent because you're so pro-life and you're trying to give life to people? You want people to be able to live? Are you pro-life with this world depopulation program, sponsored by Bill Gates and God knows who else, with the Red Cross and whoever goes around the world saying, the World Health Organization says, hey, Africa, you need these vaccinations. We're trying to help you out. And then over 600,000 Kenyan women end up sterilized. Are you pro-life then? Huh? Or are you just pro-life in the sense that you want to force people to carry babies that are promised zero support? Here's the deal. I don't like abortion. I don't like it. But I would still say that it's necessary. I believe it should be an absolute last resort. I believe that, I had a white friend in middle school. Well, not a friend, but, a person I knew. Her mom gave her birth control at 15 years old. Just like, all right, you're 15, here's a pill. And some people would be like, well, that's encouraging her to make a mistake. That's encouraging her to do things with her body. What, that human beings do? Yeah. So she gave her that for just in case something happens. She's already got a solution. And this solution is better than, a suctioning a fetus from her body. So when the time does come for her to have a baby and she's 26, 27, and she keeps dropping the baby at 6 months because she was suctioned, and now her cervix is incontinent, and won't be able to carry a kid until they give her a cerclage. They sew some metal onto your cervix so that that baby will stay in there, because after you got suctioned, your stuff is messed up. So yeah, she gave her kid birth control. I remember in my middle school, they removed the condoms from the bathroom because they said that it encouraged kids, and from my high school bathroom because they said it encouraged kids to do the wrong thing. And I'm just like, well, when you put the tampons in there for 10 cents, are we encouraged to have a period? I don't know what you're saying. It looks to me that you're encouraging kids who sometimes you can't tell what to do or how to be to at least make a safe decision. We had flash courses, family life and sexual health. That's what flash, the acronym, stood for. And they showed us everything. And some people were like, how are you showing these kids private parts and this and this and this? And they're like, because they have to know what these things do. They have to see what they're up against. They also showed us every STD you can think of. Thank God they did. Thank God they did. They even showed us what happens to your mouth if chewing tobacco, and how you can grow hair on your tongue and mold and all kinds of things that just take your mouth out. And thank God they did. They showed us some harsh, ugly things to put us on the right path. And I personally was grateful for that. I'm going to go on ahead and show you another video because now she's crying victim. She thought she was so funny rage baiting this. And the woman who punched her was actually really nice and really cooperative. And her husband were like, we didn't expect this because the woman was so nice. Exactly. So you thought you were going to exploit a nice, soft person and didn't consider that, well, this is Harlem.
She just asked her, "Are you okay with people getting put in foster care and aborting kids and all that sort of thing?" And then she's just sitting there talking, and she sucker punches her. She was not antagonized to the level that she needed to take it there.
Yes, she was.
I mean, it just shows her.
And of course, here you have a man who's going to defend, whatever. Whatever. Nora Bowlby says, I grew up religious. I read the Bible cover to cover many times, and I preached 30 plus hours a month, and I've never been punched. She didn't get punched for being respectful. Let's just say that. Period. Period. And like Nora, back when I was a Christian, I read the Bible from cover to cover as well. I led a couple of Bible studies as well. And nobody ever hit me in my face because I remember being in a high school and we were talking about pro-life versus pro-choice, and me and a Filipina girl were pro-life, and 30 other students were on the other side of the class, uh, pro-choice. And I sat there and I held my own because the Filipina didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. She just sat by me. She was Catholic. And I sat there by myself in front of 30 kids who were going back and forth with me, almost every last one of them. And I was going and going and going and going, and nobody got up and hit me in the face because I wasn't antagonizing these people. I wasn't telling them they were less than me. I was saying and believing everything this pro-life activist was saying and believing. And it took me to grow up and live a little to realize that I was wrong. But I never got hit in my face in all of my tenure, in all of my time as a Bible study leader from high school to college. Never. All right, so people are free to say what they want, but they're not excluded from consequences of what they say. So there are even Bible verses that tell people, like, you carry this message, don't antagonize people, just
The one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies
look how
in
happy
foster
she
care and
is.
killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm
That's
saying.
This is going to put fear in every news reporter's heart. Just get a two-piece. I can imagine every news reporter going to start reporting like this.
And would you say you was there for the robbery?
So many people are in support of this girl. As a matter of fact, there's been a GoFundMe started for, I believe her name is Brianna, because they sent her to jail. They found her and sent her to jail. And of course,
The one who admitted they
Of course, just because it's, it was just a two-piece in Harlem. So, she'll get out in a couple of days and then, be recommended to have like anger management classes. But I remember the first time, well, the only time that I had been arrested, it was because an access bus driver tried to leave my grandmother. She tried to leave my grandma because she came out of the house slow. I'm like, she has to get her chemo. Why are you leaving? And why did you take this job if you were going to do people like this? And I mean, I ended up in a conversation with her for so long that my grandmother was at the doors. And I'm like, she's at the doors. Just open them. Nope. You won't open the door for my grandma because you're mad at me? Do you have a mom? I sure do. Wouldn't you want the doors to be open for your mom and your grandmother? I don't understand. But here's the deal. I saw her pulling out of the driveway. My grandmother lived in a house built by her son. So he has 3 acres and he has this big grand house, and then he has this mother-in-law house on the property. So it's kind of like a compound, and the driveway is extremely long. It's 2.5, 3 acres. So my grandmother is trying to, sometimes I accidentally call my grandmother mom. My grandmother is coming down and she died that year, by the way, just so you know. She's coming down on her walker, and the lady's like, "Nope, I got a woman that I have to get to her session right away." And that woman on the bus was white and the bus driver was white. And I'm just like, "Okay, well my grandmother has the same appointment." "Nope, she's too late." I'm like, "What do you mean late? You have a pickup window. You don't have a pickup time. You're an access bus driver. You have a pickup window. You sit here and you wait for all kinds of time because you're helping the elderly and disabled people. That's your job." But I mean, she tried to back out of there, and here's what I did. I jumped onto the damn bus on the driver's side. I grabbed on to the side mirror, and I took her seatbelt and I wrapped it around my arm. Now, I didn't touch the woman herself, but I took the seatbelt and I got on the mirror and I stepped onto the little platforms on the side of the bus. And I was like, "Leave, I dare you." She's like, "I will drive off with you on the side of this." I said, "Let's go." And that's when she didn't move the car again. And I'll be honest, I did reach into the car and try to grab the little stick thing, and I tried to throw her into park. And so she told the police officer that I like choked her with the seatbelt. And I'm like, "That broad has thin skin. Look for a bruise. What the hell?" I took her seatbelt and I wrapped it around my arm like 4 or 5 times just to hold on tight unless she really pulled off. And so the police came, they cuffed me, they threw me in the car. And that's when I learned that no, I don't have a felony. I don't have anything on my record. I ended up having some diversion course in exchange for not having a record. So you're never going to find a mugshot or anything of me. But even when I was taking the diversion course, the people were just like, "I don't know, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Why did you do this?" And I was like, "She tried to leave my grandma. My grandma's 74 and she needed to go to her and the woman giving me the damn diversion course said I would have did the same thing." And I know that that sounded real black, but make no mistake, she was a strawberry blonde. And then she kept telling us another bus will come. The access bus driver, like president manager himself, said came because when they throw you in the police car, they have you out there for hours or talking to people, whatever. He came and he was like, "Another bus is not coming. Why did you tell the?" And he was black. He was black. He said, "Let this lady on the bus." Now, both the two Women of no color in the bus, they lied on me and they were believed. And they wouldn't talk to my grandmother because they just were like, well, she's got to be biased. This is her granddaughter. But God is my witness, I didn't touch that woman. And I could have. I didn't. But getting physical as far as jumping on the bus and holding on to the side view mirrors and wrapping myself up in the seatbelt, that was necessary. That was necessary to me because you know what it did? By the time they got them handcuffs off of me, my grandmother went to chemo. She sure did. Excuse me, was it chemo or dialysis? Listen, she got there. And I'm like, I'm not just going to let you run off because you're being a little shit. I'm not just going to let you run off because you're mad that you're on 3 acres of land and niggas walked out. You, by hook or by crook, my grandmother's getting on this bus. And people, oh, getting physical is not the answer. I vehemently disagree. All right, here's one more.
The one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm
That's really.
This is
I have to turn it off because there's music. Um, Here's another.
That's not the point. What I'm
That's
saying.
really.
A New York woman punched a pro-life activist, later claimed she was provoked.
Savannah continuously interrupted my thoughts and she rage baited me by attempting to dictate what I was saying.
Brianna Rivers stated that her world was turned upside down.
It wasn't saying killing living, breathing children. That was never the message.
After the incident, she apologized but insists she had no choice.
I am being cyberbullied and body shamed by not only Savannah, but her thousands of supporters. These people have shared my personal information, also my family's information. I've had strangers go to my previous residence.
How would you react to provocation? Tell us in the comments.
I mean, why are you treating people like this? And in Harlem, of all places, that's a knuck if you buck city.
Savannah Craven Antao is a reporter for the pro-life advocacy group Live Action. She took to the streets, y'all, of 100.
And you can sort of kind of tell she's one of those biracial people who think she's better than other black people. I'm sorry, but it's giving white mom, black dad who wasn't in your life, and you had to find a reason to become important, so you became the best Christian you could,
and you realize
and you're
you have nowhere
dictating
else
to
to go
people
logically. It's
what
easy
their
and
beliefs
wrong
should be.
that people reached in for violence. I'm curious, Savannah, what happened there after the cameras went off? Did she leave? Did any more interaction? This person?
Yeah, so right after she hit me with a second punch with her phone, which is what split open my eyebrow, my
Great.
husband, who's also my cameraman, was able to intervene because she had actually stepped back to try to launch back at me, and he was able to push her away, and she started to sort of walk and do this weird dance and start laughing as she was walking away. And the cops got there in record time. About 2 minutes after I called, they were there, and we were driving around in the cop car trying to see where she was. Unfortunately,
You weren't having like you weren't talking to her in good faith. You weren't asking her good faith questions. You have all of your arguments tucked in your side. You have a few things that you know that you're going to say to people, and you just kind of wanted to say, "Look, I'm right and she's wrong. She wants to take out babies and I want to save them. I'm a good person and I'm better than these people." Wait till you get in a situation. Anyhow, notice she's married and she doesn't even have kids. So wait till life happens for you. And then Mama Nitra says, bet she won't FAFO no more. Bet she won't F around and find out no more. Antagonizing people and acting like she doesn't know why. And that's why the last person was up here like, I've read the Bible from cover to cover. And in 30 years of preaching, I've never been assaulted because I've never antagonized people with a word. And why would you do that? I'm like this. I remember being Christian, and it was at a time when the popular phrase was, "You may be the only Bible that people read. So show them Christ." And I'm just like, you ain't never seen Jesus minister to nobody like this. You ain't never seen it. You ain't never read it. You ain't never got a concordance that said that this is what he did. All that fire you had for her, he saved that for the Pharisees and the Sadducees. You know what? He saved that for people just like you, religious leaders who think they own the market corner on the Bible, and they hurt people with it. When he flipped over them tables and took that whip and started striking at people, it was people just like you, Savannah. Hearing you will not hear, and seeing you do not see. This person says, I didn't see nothing. Uh, there's literally a video of the entire thing. Why are we just out here lying on national TV? Period. And I'm not signed into TikTok here, so I can't just like pull it up. But the girl came over. She was so nice. She was like, "Hi, sure. That's fine. I'd love to have this conversation. Oh, look how
Do you ever
cute she
want to
is."
question how backwards this world is right now? Guess which one of them is raised 9,000? My community.
Okay, whatever. Whatever. He's on the mixed chick side. Whatever.
With killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
Listen, I'm from New Jersey. To do this in New York is fucking insane. Like, with all due respect, you're getting mollywopped.
With killing babies in foster.
I can't find a video where it actually starts out, but she comes over and Brianna comes over to Savannah, and she's just so sweet. She's so kind. She's game for a good conversation.
Yeah, got a show for y'all. Got a damn
And this
good
woman
show.
just
Christ
disrespects
from the
the
Bible.
hell
It's
out of
not.
her.
We started from Pangea.
So what does the Bible say about human life? What's the history of the?
And that's another thing. You can't Bible the hell out of people who don't believe in it. You want to argue the Bible? Okay, so let's talk about Lot sleeping with his daughters. Let's talk about his daughters getting him so drunk that he couldn't recognize them at all and hopping on that D. Both of them, night after night, so that they could carry on the family lineage. You believe in that too? Defend it, Christian. Defend it. Let's talk about how all over the Old Testament you have, if this kid disrespects their parents, end them. If a man lies with a man as with a woman, y'all know what it means. If he put his hole in a man's pole, end him. Stone him to an ending. Defend it, Christian. Defend it, because if you believe in this Bible as the inerrant word of God, defend it then, because you're using the Bible to slap people upside the head. And it's just like, hey, who even says that I'm a Christian? Hell, when I converted to Islam, I learned that Muslims don't believe the child's soul is carried into the body until after 4 months. And I tell you, if you look at the development of a fetus, that makes a whole lot of sense. Because at one point, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. It's still cum and egg. You waste that on the sheets all the time. You waste that on the sheets all the time. You drop these eggs in the toilet once a month. Menstrual cycle. It's egg and yolk. It's cum and egg. It's semen and egg. For how long? Until it develops and looks like like a chewed piece of gum. Without a heartbeat, without a. And so with Muslims, of course, in general, they are anti-abortion. Okay. They're anti. They are pro-life in general. However, if it happens before the 4-month mark, people are like, who did you kill? If the thing doesn't even have a soul, it's not breathing. It's just parts until it becomes viable. And most abortions happen under 20 weeks. Under 20 weeks. Most of them. You know what percentage of abortions happen after 6 months? 0. And everybody wants to talk about late stage abortions and third trimester abortions and where you see these actual babies pulled apart. And I'll be honest, I can't look it breaks me down. But when I learned the facts of the matter, because I used to be one of these Christians who were absolutely pro-life. I've walked in this Savannah woman's shoes. But once I really got into biology and I really got into what's going on stage by stage, trimester by trimester, I'm just like, yo, first trimester abortions are fine with me. They're still sad, but it's okay. Let's see. And that's my look at this. My thing is, you antagonized the girl. You were not having a good faith conversation with her. You antagonized her. And that's why what happened to you happened to you. If that were a respectful exchange, I do not believe that that would have taken place. Hey, Auntie Mira. Mocha Mommy, don't let this be you, ladies. Just walk away or decline to comment. Some people are more. Now, that's what I would have did. Anytime I see a person with a camera and a mic ask me a hot question, I'm not staying. And the thing is, this girl was green enough and kind enough. She's like, oh, okay, I'll humor you. And she felt like her message was equally important. But I'm just like, I'm at an age where I'm just like, I can't convince you of nothing you don't already believe. And a lot of people, and you see that all over YouTube, people don't even care about the truth. They care about who said what and whose team they're on. The truth, receipts, none of it has any weight. None of it has any weight unless people already like you. Situation after situation involving me and others on YouTube, I'm just like, wow, the truth never mattered. You wanted me to come over here for views. You wanted me to engage you in this conversation for views. The truth never mattered. You wanted to use my name and go live about me in front and behind of the truth never mattered. It's just antagonist. Don't let this be you, ladies. Just walk away or decline a comment. Some people are more interested in playing the victim than advocating their cause. That's right. Because when I was pro-life, I was very, very, very serious. Like I was like, I'm gonna create T-shirts and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. I even came up with a phrase. It said, if you're gonna have sex, get on the pill. There's nothing worse than a girl with a baby to kill. That's straight up chocolate angel. That's straight up nobody told me, but I was so serious about the issue. And then I had to realize, I'm like, well, why am I so serious about this issue? Why am I a one issue voter? Why is this happen when other things also matter? And I'd see pro-life people who are for every war. Iraq, whatever it is, we invading these people, that people. And I'm like, why, if you're pro-life? Why does this not apply to that? Because you think these people have the wrong religion? Why does this not apply to that? And I was blown away by Christian hypocrisy. Blown away. Oh dear, how I hate seeing women getting hurt. Stuff like this makes me a recluse. You can never have any kind of conversation with people without risking assault these days. Auntie Mira, this girl was antagonistic. She was trying to get a rise out of this woman and she got it, and not the way that she liked it. I think there are absolutely ways, well, at least speaking for myself, I talk to a person about a disagreeable topic, about an inflammatory topic, and we can be okay after. I mean, I've just reposted to my panel all up to my channel, my community tab, conversations I've had with men from the manosphere, conversations I've had with men, and they're wholly disagreeable. But the conversations are respectful, they're decent, they're not knocked down, drag out, nobody gets hurt, gets called a name, because I can do that, but I can do that without being antagonistic. I'm confident enough to present to you my beliefs without being an ass. She wanted to make this girl look like the bad guy, and people were not buying it. Auntie Mira says, regardless of what side of conversation or argument one stands for, no matter how righteous one feels, be careful. There are a lot of people willing to escalate a poor choice of words into a war. Agreed. Hey, Zane. Not hiye. Did you say hi or hiye? Hiye is Somali, and it means yes or agreed. Saying good says, hey, chat. Let's like this live stream, y'all. Thank you, Auntie Mira. What's we talk about? Oh, that got blink blink. Exactly. Yes. What? Grannies are scared people. Period. Oh goodness. I hope that lady does not get in it. She got it. She got an assault charge. Uh, she went to jail. And this Savannah lady got back on the internet gloating about it. She was so excited and acting like a victim. I'm like, you absolutely antagonize this woman, and you put words in her mouth, and you're on camera trying to go viral on social media, making this woman look like a monster, and she's not. I don't agree with violence. However, that seemed like reactive abuse. Period. Period. And I don't judge people for reactive abuse. So if you guys are not familiar with this term reactive abuse, what that is when somebody abuses you, and then you go off. They abuse you kind of in a sly way. And when you go off, they're like, oh my God, everybody look at this person. Why are they acting like this? Blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, you pushed them to a point. They were trying to level with you, and you pushed them past what they could bear. It's you started this. I know I had this situation on YouTube recently when somebody was talking about my mom while we were going through chemotherapy. And I'm like, look, I don't have the strength to give you grace. I'm scared. I'm crying. I'm hurt. I'm in emergency with my mom. I'm in the hospital with my mom. They almost killed my mom with medical neglect. I'm not in a place where you can fuck with my mom. And once I responded, everybody's like, oh, it's a monster. It's a monster. It's a monster. And I'm like, yeah, but what was the precursor? What happened before that? And why are you so unwilling to tell the truth? Exactly. Because if people knew the truth from the beginning, they might look at you a certain way. Defend it. The girls were influenced by the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah and had a distorted view of relations. Hence, they had to derug their dad to do the horrible act. It wasn't sanctioned. Well, the reason I disagree is because, I mean, how the angels, they came in the form of beautiful men. The town wanted to grape them, right? The town didn't care if they were hetero, homo, anyway. And they came, and only the good people were able to get out. Only the decent people were able to get out. And Lot kept going to them saying, well, what if there's only 10 good? What if there's only, will you spare the city? What if there's only this many good? Will you spare the city? So the prerequisite of leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, the prerequisite of not getting rained, this brimstone or whatever, it's like, well, if you find enough good people, we'll back out. But your city is effed, and we don't want it on earth no more. So technically, everybody who got out was supposed to be good enough to get out. So influenced by the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah? If so, would they have been able to get out? Because the wife turned back into a pillar of salt, right? She got turned into a pillar of salt because she was influenced by the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah. And she was team Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's why she didn't make it. So why not the daughters being pillars of salt as well? It explained the bloodline. However, I don't agree with old girl Bible thumping and riding on a high horse. She was condescending and manipulative. Fully agreed, sis. Hey, high vibe. Just here. Happy Tuesday, beauties. Yeah, that bee cast that reel and caught a quick two piece. She did. You were fishing for it, honey. You were fishing for it. You thought you were so superior to that Dominican girl. You thought you were so superior to Brianna. And you were so condescending. She was so like, I don't have the full length thing on here, but when you look at the full length thing, she's dissing the hell out of this girl. There are things. Exactly, high vibe. Where's the reporter from? Seems like she has no awareness of NYC culture. I'm like, yeah, look at her. I mean, she's out there in a milkmaid dress that doesn't fit properly. The arms are jacked up, and she's from Ohio or something, because they kept telling her take that shit back to Ohio, and I'm like, girl, why would you set yourself up like this? I have only been through New York on a Greyhound, and I mean, I brace myself for New York. Like I don't play. Like I end up developing a New Yorker attitude because like I'm familiar with this stuff. I'm familiar. No, no. She was probably thinking, "Oh, people are really, responsive here. I'm pretty sure we'll get good footage." Well, you went viral, you made it on the news and you paid for it in a two-piece. You wanted that. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it now. I'm starting to change my view on that double bop. I will and truly stand corrected. I mean, any both of the ways that you said, like both the things you said, I found correct. I found correct. So if you changed your mind, awesome. But like even before the comments you said, it was correct. It was fine. She went to the Bronx with that bull. There wasn't going to be many who responded differently. Jess, I'm saying everybody was gonna bop you in the mouth or ignore you. We know what it means when a person presents in her milkmaid dress with her purity principles, talking to people on the streets. You probably like, oh, New York is degenerate. Oh, New York is Babylon. Let's go talk to people there. They suck. And you walked in there like you was walking into Sodom and Gomorrah without any angels. Without any angels who can destroy. You and your little Indian husband, I think their last names are like Anato or something like that. You thought, and you thought wrong. Uppity reread the account. Abraham was the one reasoning with God, not Lot about Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. Excuse me. It was Abraham, but I'm saying the same principle applies. The same principle applies. Abraham was the one reasoning and talking about, well, what if there are this many good? What if there are that many good? But it was like we couldn't find that many good, we couldn't find this amount of good people that we agreed on in our negotiation. So the good folk are going to leave and we're taking the city. We're going to rain down, fire and brimstone, and then we're going to flip this be over. We don't want none of it on earth. So yes, Abraham, excuse me, but the principle remains. At the time when the angel saved Lot's family, they were virgins. After they escaped Sodom's destruction, then they did the heinous act. I'm aware, but I still feel like, how do I say this? You have to have a certain disposition to get your dad drunk and fuck on your dad. My dad was an alcoholic and he wouldn't. There wasn't enough pissy drunk to get my dad to touch me. Now, here's the deal. I buy the Islamic version of the story, right? And in the Islamic and the Quran, Lot never put his dick in his daughters. It never happened, right? Because Lot was a holy man. But I'm saying this version of the story, I find it disagreeable. So in the Quran, Lot's his name is Lut. Okay, like it's closer to the actual uh enunciation of the name, but in that rendition, he did not do that. Still lost the wife, but his daughters didn't do that because he was a holy man. In Islam, Lut is a prophet. He's not just a scripture character, and didn't do it. But I'm just like, for you to have the gumption to go there, you had to be fucked up on the inside already, because what would make you think sitting on your dad's dingling is okay? What would make you think at any point to save your bloodline is not worth it? Your dad ain't got no sons. Ain't got no sons. Wife gone. Not worth it. And I think people even back then would know that. That's Harlem. Right. It's not the Bronx, it's Harlem. She was young and dumb because this Ohioan knows better. Clearly. Clearly. And there are so many people from hi, like a valley girl. Okay. I was like, girl, you know Somali? Like, set the high. Fiat high bio. My bad, high vibe. Harlem, you're right. I guess she thought gentrification had her back, or had her. To go into a black and brown community with pro life rhetoric is wild. Reproductive rights are directly tied to economic disadvantages for most women because, especially in large cities, she came to fight. And that's on period. High vibe. That's like this is a comment you can end the video on. Period. She came for a fight. And here's the deal. I believe like what she said in the much longer conversation about Planned Parenthood. I remember people used to look at me like I was wild in undergrad when I was like, you know who Margaret Sanger is? You know that woman is the left hand of Hitler? Do you know these Planned Parenthoods are in our neighborhood because they want to eliminate us? You know, their issue was not only Jewish people. You know, they said everybody, every kid that is retarded, that is in the womb with Down syndrome, who is black, who is inferior. Nah, we got to create an Aryan nation. We got to create superior people. F all these people. Get rid of them. Eugenics. Period. So that's facts when you're talking the history of Planned Parenthood. And it breaks my heart that the number one cause of, if you're going to consider a fetus a person, if you are going to consider a fetus a person, I said, if you are going to consider a fetus a person, then the number one cause of death for African Americans is abortion. And that's heartbreaking to look at. I remember when I was a super Christian, there was a quote, and it said, the most dangerous place for an African American is in the womb. And I cried until I couldn't breathe. And I was so pro life until I ended up in the hospital after being raped as an adult in undergrad. And I was like, what am I going to do? And that's when life got real and decisions got real. And I got humbled by life. Now, I told myself I would have kept it, but turns out, of course, I wasn't pregnant. The weathering, the subpar prenatal care. I mean, if you're pro life, why aren't you worried about all of these things? If you are pro life, why aren't you worried about all of these things? Let's talk subpar prenatal care. Why aren't you advocating? The biggest matricide and infanticide that happens in the hospital is African Americans and second, third generation Africans. Why aren't you, if you're so pro life, why aren't you? I remember I would go to Planned Parenthood to get tested, bro. When I have when I change sexual partners, this is my method, and it's been my method for a long time. Once I'm done with a relationship, I will not have sex for a full year. I will not have sex for a full year. And when I'm ready to have sex again, when I feel like I have purged that person's energy from my body, I go to the Planned Parenthood and I bring back, because sometimes they won't give you results. Sometimes they'll just call you and tell you, yeah, you ain't got nothing. So I would either take my results or play my phone recording from Planned Parenthood and be like, now your turn. You give me yours because I like it raw, honey. So you do what I just did. You get tested like I just got tested for you. You get tested for me like I just got tested for you. And then protesters would be out there, don't kill your baby. It's not worth it. I'm like, I'm getting tested, bitch. Another time, they were out there screaming. I'm like, bitch, I'm getting a pelvic exam. Why are you screaming at me? And you know what's cold blooded? They scream louder at white women because they don't really care what happens to your Negro baby, but they want to up these Caucasoid numbers. Even Dr. Jackie was coming for Black moms with her stands about not taking. That's why I don't like her. That's why in the name of losing my son to preeclampsia, some stuff I should have been diagnosed with once I gained 35 pounds in 1 week, and my skin was swollen to the maximum to the point where my skin was bending. In the name of medical malpractice, in the name of how could I go to work like that? And then losing my son, how could I go to work like that? Or even having him and then trying to breastfeed because the breast is the best. How am I going to work after that? I had a miscarriage, right? And I had a miscarriage because I had an ectopic pregnancy, and the solution for that was abortion. And then I had a miscarriage, and the placenta stayed inside of my body, and the doctor said, "This will rot. This will rot inside of you." So I had to get the procedure abortion for the ectopic pregnancy. And if you don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is, that means that egg was fertilized all out of place. It was everywhere it should not have been. Okay. It kills you. Death is the result. So I had the procedure for an ectopic pregnancy. And because the placenta was still in me, I had to get it taken out. So I can say, like, oh, I'm holy because I never, did it to get rid of a baby. But at the end of every day and night, the procedure was necessary or I was going to die. Even when I carried my son and I had preeclampsia, like the thing about me, I'm fertile fucking myrtle. I'm fertile as shit. I got pregnant one time, 4 times in 1 year. Fertile as shit. But I carry poorly. I carry poorly. My fertility is off the damn charts, and that's why I have a Paragard IUD. And to get that thing inserted is painful. It feels like labor. To get these people to go reverse up your cervix, right? Because it's supposed to be an exit only. But to get these people to go and reverse up your damn cervix with no numbing is painful. But I've had to have the procedure twice or I was just going to die. And that's why I say live a little. Live it a little. See what happens. Imagine abortion is illegal and you have an ectopic pregnancy and you just have to explode them from the inside because it's sitting in an ovary or it's sitting in a fallopian tube or somewhere where it shouldn't be. And there's nothing you can do. It's just a death sentence. So, because of those procedures, I also miscarried twice. Exactly. If you're pro life, then take a stroll around Harlem and study health outcomes of their children. Go to the projects with that microphone and ask those same questions. I'm just like, if you're so pro life, you should be all up in the foster care system because that's where these unwanted, too expensive kids go. When somebody has them because they had to pay with their body for whatever black tar, heroin, or methamphetamine they're addicted to, and now you got a kid born addicted, born with an addiction, can't get to a good hospital. Their options are sealed before they're even born. What good hospital where? What good environment where? They live in a food island. They live in a food desert. Ain't even no real food for miles. It's hot chips. It's store-bought preservatives. Like you wonder why Americans are fat. We don't eat don't nobody eat more than Asians. I don't care what you say. Don't nobody on the planet eat more than and they be little ass people because the food is clean. You Google what is in your Lay's chips in America and then Google what is in Lay's chip in the UK. Totally different chip. There was some bastard on the news. Well, why won't the UK take our meat? Mad that the UK doesn't buy American meat as an export. And it's just like, have y'all seen what y'all do to your meat? Your meat is sick. It's full of hormones. Your milk is full of cow snot. Cow snot. That is why, because I could go to Somalia and drink from their cows and drink from their camels and I won't get sick. I can drink from the teat. I've been in Saudi Arabia. I've lived in the Middle East. I've had milk straight from the camel, straight from the animal, not pasteurized or nothing, and it makes you strong. But there's something about the way we produce milk in America. There's something about what we feed our cows when we know they're only supposed to be grass fed that is causing inflammation and mucus to flow down into those teats. Google how much snot is in the milk we have here. And that's why people are so keen on nut milks. They want almond milk, they want cashew milk, they want any other milk. It's not because milk as a whole is bad for you, it's just bad for you in this country. Lord have mercy, Zane. I'm triggered by this comment. Serena Williams could have died because she wasn't believed after she gave birth. So now we've brought the child into the world, but we're getting ready to compromise the baby's upbringing. Exactly. Exactly. What Serena was able to save herself from, I was not. And this is why it's triggering to read this. Because I went into the hospital and I kept going in and I was like, something's wrong with me. I had a seizure and passed out. Gained 30 pounds and 35 pounds in 2 weeks. Doctor would not diagnose me with preeclampsia until I was full term. At full term, preeclampsia kills the mother and the child. So my baby's dead and I'm dying. They brought in 3 different doctors, 3 different days because they thought I wasn't understanding them because at the time I was like super Muslim. So I looked like a foreigner. I had on a niqab and I was dressed in all black the way I used to dress in Saudi Arabia. And the last person told me in front of my mom, and it's like they ripped my mom in pieces. And my mom was like, Chocolate, I know what you're doing and I need you to stop. Nobody has mind over matter more than you do. So stop this. What my mom didn't want to say out loud is, I know you're chasing that baby into the afterlife. Stop it. I'm telling you, the way I cried when I lost my son, I cried the same way when they said you're going to make it. It felt like a life Sentenced, like I was sentenced to live without the love of my life. I wanted to go so bad. Your protective mother instincts makes you want to follow your kid wherever they go. But the way Serena was able to advocate for herself, I was not. She advocated, I advocated. And even she was Serena Williams and people were like, man, you all right. She's like, no, I've had this before. I felt this in my body before. Do what I fucking said. And they're like, oh shit, she's right. Duh, she knows her body. You don't have to be a doctor to know your damn body. You live in that mug. You're an expert. Ectopic pregnancy, getting pregnant outside the uterus, usually the fallopian tubes. Exactly. Exactly. Mine was in the fallopian tubes. Cow snot, pus-filled cows. Better believe it. GMO cows with A1 milk when it sounded like A2 milk, like goat milk or sheep's milk. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you. I wish you comfort and peace. No, I wasn't triggered in a bad way. Like this is the topic saying. This is the topic and this is the discussion, so it's fine. I'm just saying like we could have lost Serena and Olympia because some white medical professional didn't want to listen. And it happens to our women all the time. We were actually conducting a study on how simply moving abroad has a positive impact on health markers on Americans a few years ago. Capitalism is making people sick, and big agribiz is trying to export. Right. I mean, if you've never heard of Monsanto, Google it. If your heart can take it, if your stomach can stomach it, Google it. There are so many Indian farmers who committed self-icide because they own the patent on their seeds, Monsanto, and they'll drive past farms and spill it onto their farms until their seeds, their crop is bearing, you know, the Monsanto patent. And they're like, all right, Indian farmers, all right, American farmers, either you do what we say with this land and you work for us, or we bury you on this land. You got a choice. And when you believe in reincarnation, you're like, all right, then haul it in. You're like, haul it in. I catch y'all on the next cycle. Nope, I'm not doing this. And I mean, there was Indian farmers were found one after the other, 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 hanging from their barns. And that's why your watermelons, when you grew up, they had black seeds, and now they're infertile and they have those little white-ish seeds. If I showed my niece and nephews a watermelon with black seeds, they would think they were bugs. They would probably think there was something wrong with it because they've never seen it. That's why your seeded limes, that's why there's no more seeds in your limes. That's why you can't plant these mugs and reproduce them. So if they're infertile, what are you if you are what you eat? It's a crime. And so again, if you're pro-life, why aren't you anti-Monsanto? Why are you not telling people to watch the documentary Food Inc? Why are your concerns limited to what women do with their bodies? Because this is just a patriarchal farce. It's not from a good place. It's from a confused place or a diabolical place, but not from a good place. High Five says when Savannah said she would adopt all of the kids in foster care, I was done. She's less smart and she's lying. She can't handle a conversation on the street. She can't. And that's why she got mollywopped. That's why she got her ass handed to her because she needed it. And she's like, oh, I'm going to walk around with more security, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you're viral and nobody wants to talk to you because we see what your way is. So, security for what? It's horrible. Agro processing practices, heartbreaking. Right. But if people are, oh, Zane, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Oh, my darling, my comfort. Oh, please don't be sad. I started therapy in 2013 because that's the year that I lost my son. And so I've been in therapy for a very, very long time. So please don't be sad. There are so many things about my life that I usually keep to myself because I end up traumatizing people by proxy, you know. So I know people think I'm spoiled and uppity and blah, 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 but I'm like, there's a reason I am the way that I am. I just don't look like what I've been through. Oh, crap. I always get extra limes from Del Taco and they don't have seeds. Girl, eat that lime juice. It tastes good. If you find you some seeded limes somewhere, save the seeds, dry out the seeds, plant the seeds. But girl, lime juice is delicious. And a lot of what we're eating is trash. The majority of what we're eating in America is trash. Unless you can pay exorbitant amounts for, Erewhon and Whole Foods and stores like that. So don't drive yourself crazy over these things. But what you said about foreigners, Americans going to foreign places, you know how many foreigners I've listened to say, I eat the exact amount and live the exact way that I lived in America and I lost 20 pounds here doing nothing? They go to another country and they lose 20 pounds doing nothing. Nothing. All the fried food with all the oil that I ate in Kenya, I lost weight. All the heavy stews and the heavy carbs, and I lost weight. I had a face full of acne when I went to East Africa. Came back with clear skin. And let me tell you, I was like an addict. The people who were hosting me felt so damn bad for me because there wasn't any. I was literally crying for preservatives. I was literally crying and sweating and moody and shaking for preservatives. I said the word preservatives out my mouth. I need preservatives. This stuff is like crack in your food. It makes you fat and it makes you hungrier. But when it was out of my system, because they don't get down like that in Africa, they don't get down like that in Africa. I had withdrawal symptoms like a crackhead. And people were calling people, they were on the phone. What are we going to feed Chocolate? They were like, well, we have fried chicken. Do black people? I'm like, just bring the chicken. And when they brought it to me, I cried on the chicken and got it wet because I was like, I can smell the life on this chicken like it's fresh. It was like it was just slaughtered. Like I needed some fake non-chicken KFC. I was using Proactive on my face and I had big nasty pimples all over my cheeks. Came back from Africa with clear skin. And half of what I was eating was street food. Half of what I was eating was what people tell you when you go there, you don't eat it. You eat from a restaurant, you eat from a grocery store, do not eat the street food. But every time they had that little deep fried fish, I was like, get at me, man. They would just be on the corner frying. I love fish. I love seafood. The greasiest fried fish, deep fried with the bones in it, the whole fish. I ate the eyes out that fish. Girls, if you have space to grow some of your food yourself, do it. Please do it for your own good. Exchange organic seeds. Have your own seed bank. If this ain't the truth, Auntie Mira, if this ain't the truth, Auntie Mira, when my mom got back from when she went home, in remission, they were like, you have a brand new immune system. And that means you can't play in the dirt. My mom has a green thumb. Even my sister sent like a crying face to the excuse me, to the group, to the family group chat. She's like, poor mom. like mom be out there growing perfect cucumbers and whatnot. But this is what to do. And I would even say get some chickens. Because the situation they have these chickens in, they're like, oh, free range. What do you mean free range? They're in a little barn house and they're trapped together in huge numbers. Like you wonder why these other countries won't take your meat. We import all kind of shrimp from Asian countries, but they won't take yours because of what you do to it. And then people eat that, and you wonder why there's a bird flu all that half the time. There are countries that call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. It makes sense. The effects of sugar on the brain. You damn Skippy. You are absolutely right, High Vibe. You are absolutely right. And what's more, I've seen people reverse it. I've seen people reverse it. I've seen people get better with getting the sugar off the brain. Garbage. That's how that's how Mr. Uppity used to say that. Gabbage. It's garbage. Like bidge, like BIDGE. Oh, good afternoons. Third word Colombian. Oh, I haven't seen you in half of forever. Good afternoon, Uppity. Long time no see. Hope all is well with you. I hope all is well with you as well. Jollof rice and yams. I'm telling you, you could be in Africa eating all kind of carbs, and after you go through your little crackhead withdrawals from all the preservatives in your system, bro, bro, sugar and some preservatives actually behave the same way as drugs in our bodies. They do. They stimulate the same pleasure centers. It's scary stuff. And what's worse about the preservatives is that your body is an intelligent machine. So your body literally looks at some of this stuff and say, "What we do with this, man? I ain't ever seen nothing like this before, man." They're like, I don't know, store it into, we got more stuff to do with incoming. We'll do with this first. So they store them preservatives as fat in your body. You don't do nothing to get fat. You don't overeat. Some of the fattest people I know eat like birds. Their body is just hella sensitive to the crap. Not just preservatives, but even some of this, Zane Good says, wow, even some of these pesticides. Do a sugar regularly. Sugar detox. She does a sugar detox regularly. I remember the first time I tried to quit sugar, the same thing happened to me as when I was in Africa, but I was in America trying to quit sugar. I was sweaty. I was moody. I was sleeping at all times of the day. I couldn't get along with people. Ready Red, what up? Hey. Um, It was a long they said in my church back when I was still going to church, they were just like, "It's harder to get off sugar than it is to get off crack." I was like, "Word? Word to my mama? What?" And then I just got scared and I was like, "I'm doing a detox." Thank you, Auntie Mira. Give a like, everyone. Sugar triggers dopamine. Not sure. There's a book called You're Not Fat, You're Toxic. Girl, might need to read that on the channel because that's facts. There's no reason. I mean, people are always asking, why are Americans so fat? Like I'm on Xiaohongshu, right? The little the Chinese they call it the Chinese TikTok, but they actually have their own Chinese TikTok, so it's not. But they're like, why are y'all so fat? I'm like, we eat poison. That's why. Because pound per pound, have y'all ever seen Asian people sit down and eat? I my aunt is Korean. And so, I got a firsthand experience with all the kimchi and yakimandu and whatever else. And I'm just like, japchae. And I'm like you could see an Asian girl in an eating contest, like in a hot dog contest, and she's the smallest person up there. It's like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, she don't eat them hot dogs all the time. She eats her own food. She got capacity for enjoyment and it'll come out because the majority of what she puts in her body is from, Asian stores. They're little Asian markets, and they're fine and skin beautiful. Now I've seen Asian acne, so don't give me the lion, but good God, it absolutely happens. It absolutely happens. And it's just like, it's a food difference. The thinnest I have been in my life is when because all of my best friends were half Asian, you know. I live in Seattle. So all of my closest friends were mixed. So when you have a best friend in high school, you're at their house all the time. And we ate all day. We ate all day and we were fine. We had flat stomachs. I did. Asians eat a lot. Go vegetables, high volume, low calorie. I'm saying this because people be like portion control. I'm like, ho, preservative, toxin control. What do you mean portion control? I had a Korean girlfriend, and during Ramadan, you know, when you're fasting, your stomach shrinks. And on the first night, she could eat a regular sized meal. Everybody else was like, you know, I could probably squeeze in 3 dates and a couple samosas, and that's it. She could eat a full meal. She was stick skinny. She was probably like a size 2. And god damn, she would open her mouth so damn wide for them big ass bites. Good Googa Mooga. But she had a half black daughter who ate like her mom and she put on a gang of weight. Her son too. All of them. They have the appetite of their mom, and they have, you know, they didn't grow up eating what she ate. So, you know, they eat what she makes, but they also eat everything else. And she's like, I don't know why my kids are so big. Low key a hack for weight loss if you love to eat. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I used to walk up in the Asian stores and they would be like, "Oh, who is this? How is you cool? Do you know where you are?" You know, because my Asian friends would take me there, and then I was just like, "Holla, man, I'm gonna have to be up in here by myself. Y'all ain't gonna get me out of here." Because one, the food is flavorful and good. Yes, it's heavy on vegetables, um, but it's heavy on everything. Heavy on pork, heavy on meat, um, extra heavy on seafood. But like they don't be shying away from butter. They don't be shying away from oils. It's just clean. Auntie Mira, it's okay. Um, autocorrect loves to make a fool out of me. Autocorrect, and then also I make a lot of adjacent key errors as I'm typing. So yeah, and then I have a keyboard that is silent, so the keys are kind of like sticky, like they're really soft, and it's padded underneath. So like it just, Lord have mercy. I completely relate. I completely relate. So anyhow, I'm gonna go on ahead and get out of here. But final thoughts on what happened to this woman. I think she absolutely deserved it, and that sometimes violence is the answer. And the only people who will tell you violence is not the answer is people who can't fight or people who have colonized, people who have taken the world by storm purely from war. And because they don't want you to have the same power, they pretend fighting is uncivilized. But if it was so bad, we wouldn't have the biggest military machine on earth. If it was so bad, we wouldn't invest more money in weapons than we do education. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Clearly, you ought to be able to defend yourself, or you want to be able to defend yourself, defend your nation, defend your family, defend your honor. People talk a lot of crap about Sharia, but what people don't know is I want to say Thomas Edison, Thomas Madison, Thomas whoever was signing the Declaration of Independence and whatnot. The Bill of Rights is partially based on Sharia, believe it or not. That's why Keith Ellison, the Muslim guy, when he took office in Minnesota, he was sworn in on Thomas Edison's Quran. So it's not like the Quran has been wholly missing from our history. It really hasn't. And the Bill of Rights is based on, you know, fundamentals of Sharia. But one of the fundamentals of Sharia that I would like to say, but in closing out, is that when it comes to what people refer to as jihad, which I mean, you can define it as holy war if you want to, but it just means struggle. You have the right to whoop ass to protect your property, to protect yourself, to protect your family, and even to protect your reputation. So imagine people are talking shit about you, ain't laid a hand on you, ain't laid a hand on you, but they're talking shit, they're slandering you. That's why you can sue for defamation in court and collect millions, because you can ruin a person's life by words. There are content creators, I just lost like 800 subscribers because you can ruin somebody's reputation by words. People who've never met me in life talking about what they think I do in my personal life. So, as far as Sharia is concerned, you can whoop ass. You can physically throw blows if somebody's trying to steal from you to protect your property. If somebody's trying to hurt your family, let's say, you know, they got their hands on your wife, your kids, your mama, yourself, your family, your property, your honor, your honor. Defending your name, you can fuck somebody up. Excuse my language. It's one of them Thomas's, child. Forgive me, but yeah, our Bill of Rights is based on Sharia. Judas S. I don't know what this means, but we're gonna leave that up because my good sis said it. So hell yeah. All right. John Hancock. Yeah, he signed it too. I think that's why people call all signatures John Hancock. I think he signed it pretty or with either he signed the declaration really pretty or it was really big. But that's why people are like, I need your John Hancock right here when they're asking for your signature. So anyhow, love y'all. Thank you for being here. I'm uppity and I'm out.
They understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together.